1-3, including 0-2 on the road here. But let's first discuss the ownage by the LA Clippers. Remember last year, end of the regular season, the Clippers beat the Warriors at Chase Center to advance to the playoffs. The Warriors had to go the play-in route. And then you look at what has happened since 2023. It's been straight ownage by the LA Clippers, Fezzi.
I mean, when you look at this is 2-10. The Clippers have won this season. They're 3-1 against the Golden State Warriors. And so the Warriors are trying to look to make a run, make a push. I don't care what y'all say about these numbers. When you come to a sudden death for an elimination game, it comes down to your stars and the pieces around him. Steph Curry feels like his pieces, Brandon Podziemski, Guy Santos, these guys have gotten better. And they have veterans like Al Horford, Kristaps Porzingis. That championship DNA for the Warriors is going to be tested tonight, but do not sleep on this guy. Kawhi Leonard is a monster. This season is having incredible numbers, has had 20-plus points in 57 straight games. I'll just let you think about that right now, Bonte.
SGA.
Yeah, Bonte and Festus, this is the postseason. This is a Game 7 type situation, win or go home. So what it comes down to is execution and then matchups. And those numbers speak to the matchups that the Clippers have dominated the Warriors recently. And they've been able to also establish their style of play.
Yep.
They want to play a little bit slower, make it a half-court game. They're more of an ISO team, low assist team, low turnover team. So it is important. I think the Warriors get to a good start, establish their style of play. That's why I mentioned earlier, taking care of the basketball is always a big factor. But if the Warriors can get this game sped up a little bit and take care of the basketball, that's going to be advantage Warriors. And both teams are very different now from all those numbers. James Harden's not there anymore. The Warriors have been very accustomed to game planning for James Harden, who would handle the basketball, make a lot of plays for them. Now it's Darius Garland and Kawhi Leonard, the two main plays that really are the winning formula for this team. So Garland's very different preparation. He's more of a blow-by guard, speed. Those numbers are a little skewed because both teams are different. Obviously, Warriors with Porzingis now and Horford. So the numbers are something I think you got to take into account. But as Fezzi said, one game, elimination, all those numbers kind of go out the window. You got to go out there and perform tonight.
Yeah, one thing that's been constant, though, with Ty Lue and the Clippers is they limit Stephen Curry's three-point attempts and run him off that three-point line, of course. So let's look at the numbers here for the Golden State Warriors. And they've been trending the opposite direction since that NBA championship back in 2021-22. Obviously, they were a 3 seed back in 22 and won the NBA championship against the Boston Celtics in 6. But you look at what happened the next season, losing to the LA Lakers in the second round. They didn't get out to play in tournament in 2023-24. They were blown out in Sacramento. And then last year, where Stephen Curry suffered a hamstring injury in Game 1 of that second round series against Minnesota. And now, 37-45, one of the worst records under Steve Kerr. It's the second time they've had a losing record under Steve Kerr. Here's what Stephen Curry had to say after practice Tuesday afternoon about the Warriors' current situation.
Yeah, even though it's a different narrative than what we came into the season, it is, like I said, an opportunity for us to keep our season alive and give ourselves a chance to get into a playoff series. We've had every experience from playing to being a lower seed and winning, home court advantage, number one seed, like everything, we've pretty much experienced it all. So you'll tap into whatever you need to get ready for tomorrow. Top of the mountain, had to fall down, climb back up. And meaningful basketball is just a way for us to, with the core, me, Draymond, Steve, when Clay was here, it was just an idea of trying to keep it together and still be competitive and still try to chase championships with the framework of what we've built, knowing that the regular seasons are always kind of an emotional roller coaster, but you're building towards the meaningful games that matter, and this is where we're at.
Hopefully it's not the last time we welcome in the great KB, Kerith Burke, and two-time Emmy Award-winning Hall of Famer, Monty Poole, our Warriors insider here at NBC Sports Bay Area, courtesy of Comcast Business. Every connection counts. All right, KB. Warriors have lost 9 straight against the Clips in L.A. We saw their losing record. They're in a play-in tournament, which they've lost both road games since they've been in the play-in tournament. Is there any advantages for the Dubs tonight?
There is. Why don't we create another column? Because there are two things the Warriors have that the Clippers don't. Steph Curry and playoff experience. Monty, that playoff experience is something that you wrote about, and it does matter in these moments.
It does. I mean, we can, at some point in every great teams or good teams journey, they will be overcome by a team's youth and energy. At some point, it could happen to the Warriors, but the Clippers are not the kind of team that I think can do that right now. And so you look at the experience level. Experience was the Warriors' friend in 23 when they played the Kings. Kings were a 3 seed. The Warriors won with experience. Experience was the Warriors' friend last season in Houston. Houston was a better team. Warriors won. Experience mattered for them. Go back to 22. The Celtics in the finals. Celtics were a better team. The Warriors knew how to play in those kind of games. And so you're looking at guys on the Warriors like Steve and Draymond and Steph, Al Horford. These guys have played more than 100 times in postseason games. And again, this is not a playoff game, but it is a postseason game. You look at the Clippers, there's Kawhi and there's Brook Lopez, and everybody else has played 12, 14, 18 games. It's a different level, a different energy in a playoff situation. So I think that can be the Warriors' edge, because I just don't know if, Chris Dunn, who's played, I think, 12 postseason games, Darius Garland has played just a few. I don't know if they understand yet what it's like to get there.
All right, the Warriors are hopefully built for this moment. We know Steph Curry is. We've been talking all season about Steph Curry's age when he turns 38. Okay, he's finally 38, but this does feel like this moment of in Steph we trust, because they have a player who can go nuclear.
Steph is, they've been saying this ever since Steph was out. When he comes back, we get Steph back. We get Steph back. Well, Steph is back. We know that Ty Lue loves to defend against him, devise ways to try and limit him. It's always a good chess match between Steph and Ty Lue. We'll see how it goes tonight.
Well, Ty joked that he was sick of Steph.
Yeah, he is. I bet he is.
We'll talk about that in a little minute, too, because when you talk about playoff experience, Ty Lue knows what that feels like when he was once the coach of the Cavaliers.
No doubt about that. We'll have more on Steph a little later in the program here, but Fezzi, I'll start with you. Experience. Is that a big-time factor tonight in this playing game down in L.A. against the Clips?
Absolutely. Yes, experience matters. But here's what I see with the Warriors. The Warriors have had a long year. Our injuries have been very unkind to the Warriors this season. But one thing I've understood about sudden death matches, kind of like what it's going to be tonight, is it's usually about the team that can withstand the punches long enough to be able to make their own run at the end of the game, right? And the Warriors they've withstood so much this season. You got to think about it. You missed a lot of the season. You missed Jimmy Butler. You missed Steph Curry. And then you had your next leading scorer, Moses Moody, go out the lineup. Brandon Podziemski, during that time, has become a much better player. He's become aggressive. He's hitting shots. He's been a better player. Guy Santos has become a better scorer, a better facilitator. GP2 has really flourished as a guy who has incredible chemistry finishing around the rim. So what you want to see tonight is you want to see guys like Kristaps Porzingis. You want to see Steph on the floor, and you want that veteran leadership. And those guys who really have been taking those punches all year long to come out and strike back tonight.
Experience is valuable, but execution wins games. I'm talking about paying attention to the scouting report, understanding when they go double Kawhi and you're rotating out, which shooter do you leave open? Offensively, taking care of the basketball, getting shots. And I'm going to be watching. Monty just mentioned about Ty Lue, and they also have Jeff Van Gundy. How many threes does Steph get up, say, in the first 10 minutes? If he's getting 5, 6, 7, 8 threes in the first half, that means he's rolling. So experience does help, no question about it. Personally, I go for talent and matchups that I can win. So we'll see how that plays out. Both teams have matchups they feel they can take advantage of. We'll see which team does a better job of that.
We will see about that between the Warriors and the Clippers. Less than an hour away from this playing game between these two clubs.